Hello and welcome once again to another episode of Beth the Chef. So, yes, I hope everyone is well, and this week we are going to take the 1893 classic Peach Melba and transport it to the year 2025. Now, if you don't know much on Peach Melba, it was a dish invented by Chef Augustus Escoffier, I hope I pronounced that right, from the London Savoy. And it's just a simple combination: peaches, raspberries and vanilla ice cream. But for this one, I've got a little bit of inspiration from the upper deck where I used to work, which is just at Grosvenor Casinos opposite the Pleasure Beach. And their desserts, one of them highlighted peaches with some foraged elderflower, which was great fun to learn about. And the other dish on that specific menu was a jasmine infused pannacotta. And I love making pannacottas. I love both the dishes, so why not take a bit of both, create your own infusion. This is a raspberry ripple pannacotta with grilled peaches and fresh raspberries for garnish. And I'm going to show you how to make some awesome tuiles that you see on that famous BBC cooking channel with a bold greengrocer and an Australian. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Grace Dent next. Spoiler alert if no one knew. Anyway, without further ado, let's cook. Right, so the first stage, we're going to make our raspberry coulis, which is going to be our ripple effect in the panna cottas. So first of all, you need raspberries, and in here there's 200 grams, but make sure you buy over just so you've got some spare for the garnish later on. And all you're going to do is mash them up, pass through the juice so you've not got the pips in there, and then we'll go over to the heat. Right, so what you should have is your bowl of raspberry liquid and your pips in here. Now, just get rid of your pips there, and you've got your liquid. So what we're going to do is, for freshness, add a little bit of mint. This should bring out your other flavours as well. Your peaches, raspberries, vanilla. And it's quite good as well with it because the springtime is near, so gives you that spring feel other than eating lots and lots of chocolate, let's be honest. And in here I'm just adding now 3 tablespoons of icing sugar, and it doesn't really need to be sieved because all those lumps are gonna come out, and we'll stir as we go along while it is on the heat. Be able to see it thicken already. which is brilliant because it's going to be a great consistency to get a nice ripple pattern. Right, so yep, our coulis is just here to one side, and I've gathered all the ingredients up, ready for the panna cottas. So I'm just going to soak my gelatine into water, cold water, 1 second, and usually go with 2.5 sheets, but because we are adding a little bit of extra liquid, I've played it safe and gone for 3. So straight in they go. And in here is 400 mils of double cream, got a little bit of vanilla, 60 grams of caster sugar, and milk. So this milk I'm just going to add to the cream. There we are, 150 mils. So what we want to do is pour your milk and cream into a pan, because panna cotta basically translates to set cream, so that's what we're making, a set cream. I'm going to add some vanilla, good splash there, and the sugar. Make sure every bit's in there. I'm just going to take this to a heat on, again, a low to medium heat. Right, so while our cream is doing its thing, it won't take long. I've just got my moulds here. Now, spray these moulds, which is a very important part for this, otherwise they simply won't come out once they're set. I've got some release spray, and I'm not seeing this in supermarkets, but trusty Amazon, you can get it on there. And from what I've seen, it sets, a big can like this can set you back £13, but you do get a hell of a lot of usage from one can, and there's not really a use by date on it. I mean, I've had this one for pretty much a year and there's still a fair bit left. So give it a shake and just spray each one. Right, so once your mix has been on about 5 to 10 minutes, you should see little bubbles that slowly start to come to the boil. Just like you would with a custard, really. Turn down the heat just a little bit. Okay. And we're gonna add our gelatine. Now, your gelatine should feel nice and soft. And you should do is just squeeze it. Make sure you get as much liquid as you can out in order to help your panna cotta set. Just add it straight in, and then you're going to mix it in well. Now, I have made panna cottas before with agar, but wow, I struggled a bit getting it just right for the, wobble, but not really firm. It's quite easy to go over the top with them, but yeah, I Well, I imagine it just takes a lot of practice. I prefer gelatine. Right, so I've got my jug back and don't worry if it's not being cleaned or not, because it's the same as your mix really, the milk and the cream. So, and I'm gonna do this cautiously. Imagine like you would with a marble cake, so you don't overmix it and instead of rippled get a pink panna cotta. So I've just spooned some mix in with a ladle, and I'll do like one at a time so I can see where the mix is at. Yeah, add about a teaspoon. Just very lightly, a few dabs, and pour into your mould. We are, so they've cooled down now, and I'm just setting them in the fridge. And these will take about 6 hours to set. So in the meantime, we'll make some peach jowl and we'll go on to our lovely tuiles. Alright, so I've gathered up my ingredients for the peach jowl. In here I've got about 70 ml of water, just cold water. And I'm just using this up, but splash of lemon juice, or if you're using a fresh lemon, I'd say just under the juice of one lemon. Just to add a little bit of a bite. In go the peaches. Now, it doesn't matter with the skins because the skins will soften, and also with blitzing and passing through later. And there's 2 peaches in there, but of course take the stone out. And have some peaches, some spare peaches to one side, obviously to grill them off later. I'm going to add some honey. Now, okay. 2 to 3 tablespoons. And you'll find out later why we're using honey as opposed to sugar. But it's going to complement our tuiles later on. Now I want the peaches and their skin to soften up a bit, so I'm going to keep it on the low heat for quite a while and stir regularly. And you know the drill. I can get that in shot. agar powder. Yeah, reach it to once it gets to 80 degrees. Leave it to one side to set. And if you've not seen the previous videos, I will tell you a little bit more of agar in the Black Forest inspired macaroon episode. Just go between 5 minutes 10 seconds and 5 minutes 50. So once your peaches are softened, you should be able to get your spatula in there and mash them up a bit. Just add your agar. And for this we want 2 to 3 grams. Now I can go by eye, but if you want to use your probe, it needs to be at least 80 degrees. Take off the heat, just leave in a big bowl to set, and then you can blitz later on. Right, now I've gathered up the ingredients for the honey tuile, and this is where we get a little master chefy, let's say. Yeah, these really add something to your dish, but quite cheap to make, very cheap to make actually, and very straightforward to make. So what you need is 1 egg white, 35 grams of plain flour, and in here 35 grams of butter, unsalted butter, and 35 grams of honey. And all we need to do is, I've not got a microwave on a low heat, but the microwave, and melt the butter and honey together. There you go. It's melted. So I'm gonna just pop it all straight into the flour. Give it a mix. Then once it's starting to get together, add your egg white while mixing. Right, so you want to preheat your oven to 150 degrees, and I've just got my leaf mould here. Now, this was a Christmas present from my Auntie Helen, so once again, thank you, just like with the Madeleine moulds. But this, I've had a look, and this is on Amazon. One singular mould sheet sets you back £5.88, but you can get packs with all kinds of patterns in. With this one, it came with floral design, butterfly design, and this cool beehive hexagon honeycomb design. What you want to do is carefully add a little bit and spread the mixture around, but don't go too thick because you want the pattern to come through, and this mix can go quite a long way, so feel free to use it up. You can reuse the tuile mould, you just have to be a little quick about it, and if not, the mix is fine to freeze. So yeah, push your spoon in there all around. So these take, keep an eye on them, but about 5 to 6 minutes. But yeah, you just want it to be nice and golden colour. Obviously, like a biscuit or a cookie, they will firm up a bit more as they cool down. So once they're out, and yeah, be careful because it's going to be hot. Carefully take them out, and I always just pop them straight onto a cool surface. Well, a bit self-explanatory really, but they cool down quicker. And yeah, go again, reuse the mould. So they cool down pretty quickly, and this is the part where I feel a bit like I'm on Squid Game. But if you do break one, don't worry, I won't shoot you. And There's some little bits covering the pattern. Just with a cocktail stick or something sharp. Carefully incision your holes. To get a lovely pattern. So after a few hours, our gel is nice and set. And yeah, you know the drill. Blitzing, pass it through, and then I'm going to transfer to a piping bag, but if you want to keep it in the container and mess around with plating, designing your dishes, feel free to. Right, so now we're ready to start assembling our dish and putting it together. And I've just got some peaches here, and you just want to half them. And a little bit of oil. What I'm going to do is just brush the peaches with the oil. A little bit on both sides. And I'm going to heat our skillet up, ready to grill them off. They'll get nice and hot, and we want the skillet just dry, nothing in it. We've oiled the peaches. And meanwhile this is heating, I'm just going to make a little, I suppose, sprinkle for the peaches later on. We are. So in there's a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and just over a teaspoon of light soft brown sugar. So when it's nice and hot, get your peaches and pop them the flat side down. And keep them there. You want to get some nice char marks on them, so have a look here and there underneath, but this should take about 4 minutes each side. So they've got a nice colour on them, and turn them over. And sprinkle a bit of this sugar on. The residual heat should slowly dissolve the sugar into the peaches. So now let's put the dish together. So just off from the centre, I'm going to pop the panna cotta down. There we go. One of our gorgeous peaches alongside. Now, just in the holes of the raspberries, I'm going to pipe the peach gel. And pop alongside the peach. so we get a little idea of the ingredients and elements that are actually in this dish. Going to put one leaf there, and we'll go with one just here. So here we have it, our Peach Melba inspired dessert. Raspberry ripple pannacotta, spiced grilled peach, peach jowl, fresh raspberries, and our honey leaf tuile. So spread the word, Beth the chef. Have some fun creating your designs with this one. And join us next week. We are going to be doing a homemade Scotch egg with some crispy sage, nice fragrance, and I'm going to show you how to make a fruity brown sauce. Bon appetit!